Welcome to Simply Good. I'm Bill Apodaca, and today we're going to show you small saute. Small saute is for smaller pieces of meat, fish, or chicken that can cook all the way through in the saute pan on the stove top without placing it in the oven. So we're talking about small 4-ounce filet mignons, chicken breast pounded out thin, piece of 4 to 5 ounce piece of fish or scallops, shrimp. All those will work for small saute. And the first thing we want to do with these thick chicken breasts are pound them out. And we found the best way to pound these out is take a thick Ziploc baggie like this, then take a meat mallet and we just pound them thin so it's one even thickness throughout the chicken breast like so. And that's going to allow it to cook very quickly in the saute pan. And now we can move on with the first step into small saute. The first step we want to do is season the meat. And today we're using salt and pepper. We're keeping it simple, but there's two other ways you can season the meat. One is just with one is with, you could put these in your favorite marinade overnight. Once it comes out of the marinade, hit it with salt and pepper. Or a third way is to use a salt spice blend, and that's just dried herbs and spices mixed with salt to create a flavor profile. Here at Simply Good, we make Moroccan spice blend, Italian, Greek. It all depends what kind of flavors you're trying to get. And then with this delicate chicken breast, we're just gonna lightly dredge it through some sort of flour. Here we're using all-purpose flour, but it could be rice flour, potato flour. It's just to protect this delicate meat. And that's it. Step one to saute, small saute is done. And now we're gonna move on to step two. And step two is place it in a hot saute pan, 425 to 450 degrees, for 2 to 3 minutes on one side. So we're gonna remove our grill surface thermometer. This pan's been preheating for the last 5 minutes. We're gonna put a thin layer of oil in the pan. And then we're gonna place these chicken breasts in the pan like so. And you want enough oil in there so you see the meat sizzle. And we're gonna set a timer for 2 to 3 minutes. And in that 2 to 3 minutes, we're gonna get a beautiful golden brown sear. It's gonna cook halfway through. And then we'll move on to step 3, which is flip it over and finish it cooking on the back side for another 2 to 3 minutes. And then we'll come back and talk about step 4, resting. All right, so our 2-minute timer has gone off, and now it's time to flip these over for step 3. You want to be careful. You can see some of the juices are pooling up on the chicken. Sometimes when you flip it over, it splatters the oil and it can catch a fire. So we just move it off to the side and flip them over. And you can see that beautiful golden brown we have. And it's just going to take 2 more minutes on the back side to cook it all the way through. And then we're going to let it rest. And the importance of letting it rest is once these chicken breasts come out of the pan, 2 things happen. One, it's called carryover cook time. As it sits there on the counter, it will rise 10 degrees in temperature. That heat is still traveling towards the middle of the piece of meat. And second, when meat gets hot, it tightens up like this. So if we were to chop into it too soon without letting it relax, it's so tight it squeezes all that juices out of the meat. And when you lose the juice, that's all the flavor, it's all the moisture, it's all the texture, and you just lose it. So the secret is to let it rest. And our rule of thumb for letting meat rest is for every pound of meat we're cooking, it's 8 minutes of rest time. These are under a half a pound, so they need to rest about 4 minutes. And then we can slice right into them and serve them right away. And with that, we'll come back to it when these come out of the pan. Okay, our 2 minutes is up. So we're looking at a total cook time of 4 minutes to cook these pounded out chicken breasts all the way through. And now we're gonna let it rest. And we like to take it out of the pan and let it just sit on a roasting rack or a resting rack for the 4 to 5 minutes so it doesn't get soggy. All the juices and steam can dissipate. But we do like to show you what happens when you cut into that chicken breast without letting it rest. So you're gonna see these juices come out, and sometimes it's not cooked all the way through. There's just a little bit of pink in there, and some people might have a little bit of a problem like with that, so they would throw it back in the pan for 5 more minutes and just really overcook it. But this one is getting that 10 degrees of rest time, so it's finishing cooking through. And when we start to tip this board, you'll see those juices start bleeding out of it. And those juices we really want in the meat rather than the cutting board. And we'll come back to this one after 4 minutes and cut into it, and you'll see the big difference. So our 4 minutes of rest time has occurred. We'll come back to this one we earlier cut into without letting it rest. And you can see the juices are just pouring off of it. Remember, those juices should be in the meat rather than your cutting board. And then this one, I can still feel it's nice and warm just 4 minutes later. We'll slice right into it. And you'll see how nicely that's cooked all the way through. You can see the steam coming off of it even after 4 minutes, and that juice is staying in the meat rather than leaching out onto the cutting board. And those are the 4 steps to small saute. Season the meat, place it in a hot saute pan, cook it for 2 to 3 minutes to get that beautiful golden brown sear. Step 3, flip it over, finish cooking it on the backside for 2 to 3 minutes. And then step 4, remove it from the saute pan and let it rest. Thanks for joining us.